Going to do another John Deere axle final drive identification. So 100mm axle has a flush surface with the bolts. Has a little bit skinnier ring gear. So flush surface, 100mm or 4-inch axle. All your small horsepower tractors. 110mm, 110 standard. So it's going to have recessed bolts, and it's going to be 110. Here we can see the thickness of the axle housing past the seal. It's also another way to ID it. Harder for the customer, but easier for us because it's off. Here's a 110 standard. Excuse me, a 110 heavy because it's flush mount. This is found on your 30 series, 9330, 9430, 9420 if it was a scraper. It's got a really thick housing on it. And it's a 110 also. Actually, this particular housing is the same as the 120mm 18 boat. It's just machined differently. So the easiest way to tell on the 120 is the four sets of three bolt pattern. You can see this on the front or the rear of the axle. It's not hard to identify. And it will have a 120mm axle. And here the housing is machined thinner to accept the larger bearings. So from a 120, a 110 heavy duty, a 110 standard, basically on these we can do anything. We can upgrade, we can downgrade, we can intermix, we can do a lot of different things with these. So based on the customer's needs, if you're running this on a tractor that's got or you're pulling a dirt pan with it and you keep tearing the rear axle out, you might want to think about upgrading. If you're running a tractor with a blade on the front and you're packing silage and your front axle keeps going out, you might want to upgrade if you're going to keep the tractor. Here, if you've already got the heavy version and you keep, same thing, you got a scraper, your rear is going to go out on a scraper, your front's going to go out on the packing tractor with the heavy blade on it, you can, and we do, upgrade to a 120. We have to change out the castings or the wedges and the wedges on the dual hubs, which has to come off anyway. So as a Reman axle, we offer them just like they said here. We don't put the wedges or the castings back on them. If you want to buy a good used one, we do leave the dual hubs and the castings on those. That way, it's an easier swap out for a customer. So lots of options. We sell the complete axle, we sell the center section, we sell the final drives. We don't really sell any individual parts because we got them into a rebuild program. We do have a new 1-year part, 1-year labor warranty. And what we're doing for the warranty, we're going to supply you with 2 oil scan kits. And you're going to do a sample at 50 hours, which is the hours that the dealer says you should recheck your system. And then we're going to do one at 150. And the reason we're going to do that is that we learned on the selling the transmission, customer may replace the transmission because it had metal in it. And whoever diagnosed it says, well, the filters are plugging up on the transmission and now the transmission won't shift. What we've ran into is that there could be metal coming from a bearing in the rear end that actually is what took out your transmission. So even if you do a good flush, what the 150R will do, it'll show an increase in metal that comes from your rear end, so that material can be analyzed by the oil scan companies. We actually use the same company Deere does. And so that's going to tell us, we would get an alert basically when we get it, and we can contact you as the customer or the dealer to tell your customer that, hey, you're producing metal somewhere in that tractor. And while we're going to warranty the transmission, it is hard to warranty it for contamination. So we think that's a good service piece that we're doing. It doesn't really require any time. We pay for the kits ourselves, and all you have to do is take the sample and drop it in the box. Then after that, basically we know if we get a clean 150 oil sample, then there's really no reason that anyone should be concerned about the parts being bad, because now we got a clean bill of health, if you will. So, little long video, but hope that's helped you understand what we're trying to do here. And if we can help you out on anything, let us know.